This is La Cocina Completa, a classic 1940 Spanish cookbook by María Mestalla Echagüe, better known by her pen name, the Marquesa de Parabere. It's basically Spain's version of The Joy of Cooking. Like Joy, the book contains an impressive amount of recipes for main dishes, sauces, and sides that together form a very representative picture of Spanish culinary tradition at that time. But today I'm especially interested in Chapter 21, Fried Food. It begins with a detailed explanation of the proper techniques to make Spanish croquetas, including this neat diagram on how to shape them, and proceeds to list recipes for 14 different varieties. Clearly, the Marquesa considered them important to take up a few generous pages of her encyclopedia-sized book. And if you've ever had croquetas, you probably know why. More than 80 years after La Cocina Completa was published, croquetas are still a favorite appetizer around the world. There's even a distinctly Spanish type of restaurant called a croqueteria, which specializes in them. And yet, the word croquetas originates from the French croquette. No, not that one. There we go. There are lots of other foods around the world that share a similar name but taste very different from Spanish croquetas. So it's worth asking, what makes Spanish croquetas different, and how can you make them at home? Find out more after the guitar riff. The word croquette comes from croquer, meaning crunch. The earliest written croquette recipe comes from Le Cuisinier Royal et Bourgeois, a French cookbook from 1693. It included truffles, which checks out for a cookbook written by the royal family's head chef, but also meat, marrow, cheese, and egg, which were then breaded and fried in lard. Sometime in the early 1800s, something resembling modern French croquettes became a popular way of reusing leftover ragout, a beef stew. Then Napoleon's career got off to an explosive start, and Europe got a heavy dose of French artillery, culture, and cuisine. Shortly thereafter, London's most popular French chef, Louis Eustache Ude, published an English-language cookbook with 7 croquette recipes. At that point, the croquette did what any good food with a global appeal does. It spread and it mutated. There's only 2 parts to a croquette, the outside and the filling, and there's a lot of variation across the world. Here are some notable examples. Polish croquetti are a mushroom and meat mixture wrapped in a crepe before being fried. Japanese korokke are large breaded patties made of beef and mashed potato. Uruguay has a popular variation called croquetas de arroz, basically fried breaded balls of rice. The Netherlands have kroketten, whose filling often contains boiled veal and nutmeg. And Guinea has chin-chin, also called croquettes by the French speakers there, which is essentially fried sweet dough with no coating. That's a lot of variety. I've included some of the links to YouTubers making the recipes I described in the comments section below. Be sure to check them out. So what makes Spanish croquetas different from the other varieties that exist across the world? That can be a tricky question. As Spanish tapas became popularized, croqueteria started experimenting even further. Today, it's possible to find croquetas with apple, cheese, and morcilla, or Spanish blood sausage. So to make things easier, I'm going to focus on the characteristics of the oldest and most popular Spanish croqueta, the fabled Croqueta de Jamón. Actually, Spanish jamón is expensive and hard to find here in the United States, so I'm going to use prosciutto instead. Life is a compromise. This is my grandma's recipe, and it intentionally keeps things as simple as possible. Here's what makes it great. Number 1, good things in tiny pieces. Spanish croquetas usually have whatever meat or vegetables they feature diced into very small pieces. If you have a blender or a food processor, this makes things much easier. I'm using about 5 slices of prosciutto. After that's been ground up, it's time to saute with about 6 tablespoons of olive oil until it's deep red to bring out the flavor. Number 2, it's all about that bechamel. This always includes flour and milk, but you can add butter and spices if you so choose. Bechamel is what gives Spanish croquetas their signature creaminess. In my case, that means adding about 12 tablespoons of flour to the oil and grease left over from sauteing the prosciutto, and then slowly stirring in 1½ cups of milk over a low flame. When it thickens enough that it sticks to the spoon, we're ready to add the prosciutto back in, and then leave it in a bowl to cool. Number 3, egg 'em and bread 'em. After shaping the mass into rounded cylinders about 3 inches long and 1 to 2 inches in diameter, we'll scramble 2 eggs and grind some bread husks. Dipping our bechamel mixture in the egg, and then the crumbs, gives croquetas the necessary coating. Number 4, I hope you've got olive oil. To finish cooking the egg and crumb coating, Fill a saucepan with 2 inches of olive oil and heat it until it starts slightly smoking. Depending on your stovetop, this may take 7 to 15 minutes or so. A fry basket like this helps make the process safer and more efficient. Let the croquetas boil in the oil until they turn golden brown. Then, remove them, move to a plate, and serve hot for the best taste. Thank you for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell down below. Till next time, remember, don't cook angry.